Good afternoon. This is Matt Millen. I'm the Vice President of Sales with Robbins Research International and Anthony Robbins Company. And welcome to this edition of the New Money Masters webinar series. Today you're going to meet one of Tony's new Money Masters. In fact, he's the guy who was responsible for introducing Tony to Frank Kern, Jeff Walker, John Reese, Brendan Bouchard, Mike Vilsaime, and the rest of the internet marketing gurus. Mike Koenigs is an internet marketer, serial entrepreneur, video producer, author, and speaker who's best known as the guy who created Traffic Geyser, an incredible online marketing tool that can broadcast video and content worldwide with a click of a button. Mike has served as a producer, marketer, consultant for Sony Entertainment, 20th Century Fox, 3M, General Mills, Domino's Pizza, Ralston, Mazda Motors, and New York Times best-selling authors and celebrity speakers including Harvey Mackay, Debbie Ford, and Deepak Chopra. And he's the go-to online video marketing guy for many big-name celebrity authors and online marketers including Paula Abdul, Tony Robbins, John Assaraf from The Secret, Brian Tracy, and Mark Victor Hansen. He's created over 300 websites, more than 30 products, produced a Hollywood feature film, and received the 2009 Marketer of the Year Award from Early to Rise. It's great to be here today at the Digital Cafe, Mike's studio here in San Diego. Mike, welcome.
Hey, thanks. Nice to be in my studio.
It's great to be here. Look at all this equipment.
Yeah. No, at some point we'll, great intro, by the way. But
like you wrote it yourself.
I know, thanks. No, well, what we've got is, we'll actually pan around after a little while and kind of show everyone what we have, because what's great about this is we're doing a high-definition, real-time broadcast. I'm totally pumped.
And this is great for the Money Masters subscribers who actually get to see the technology in action, and we'll talk about some real-life and real-time applications in both business and their personal experiences.
Totally. This is, in my opinion, the future of marketing online. It's the idea of creating shows, creating business shows and activities, and being able to connect with, literally, I mean, we could be broadcasting right now to whether it be 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, even 100,000 people, and the costs are indescribably cheap. So yeah, it's a great time to be alive.
Well, let's go. This is exciting.
All right, yeah. So well, I think the rest is up to you, isn't it? You've got some great questions put together, and I don't know, tell me what to do.
Well, let's do this. Let's spend just a few minutes recapping the content on the Mike Koenigs webinar, Money Masters edition that went out.
Oh yeah.
Let people know just about who you are, what you do, some of the technology and the foundation, and then we'll talk about where things are going and some applications for both personal and business.
Yeah, we'll talk about making money with technology and marketing. And I've got some great props here that we're going to be talking about, including a brand new gadget.
I think I'm sitting on one.
I know. Well, that's, I know. It's like, yeah, I have a little, if there's an addiction, I have it, and it's called gadgetry. But so, a little backgrounder? Start with that? Okay. So, I'm a classic, came from nowhere, humble beginnings. My dad's a barber. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. I grew up in a tiny town called Eagle Lake, Minnesota. There were 763 people who lived in my town growing up, lower middle class, and I'm a product of 12 years of parochial education and all the things that go along with that. And but I always loved technology. And when I was 14 years old, a neighbor loaned me an Apple II computer, and I taught myself the basics of how to program in a weekend. And from there, I was hooked. I always knew I wanted to do something with technology, and I loved to read catalogs and marketing brochures and receive junk mail. So let's see, programming, love video games, like music, love movies. And if you fast forward to today, you know, it's my whole life is kind of all about connecting all these things together and entertaining and marketing and educating and promoting. And in between there, I discovered Tony during one of my darkest times. I'd gone through a painful divorce. I'd married my high school sweetheart, had a business that was failing. I was fat, broke, and I literally, the classic story of I was living on gas cards. I was buying food with my, you know, that was all I had left because all my other cards were maxed out. I was paying employees with credit card checks. And finally, I found out about Tony through a good friend of mine. Went to, I bought his box of stuff on TV, got a coupon, showed up at an event, sat around and for about 2 days in denial saying this isn't for me, and then I decided I was going to play along. And if you fast forward 9 months later, I was thin, in a great relationship. My company was being acquired by $1 billion a year advertising marketing agency, and I was living on a boat, and I was free. I'd worked my 20s and my early 30s away, and a few years later I met my current wife, and we have a 7-year-old now. And
congratulations.
that's pretty much it. So good story, humble beginnings, that kind of a classic thing. Self-taught, no education.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Traffic Geyser, because initially when we found you for the new Money Masters, you know, that was the technology and the product, and I know we're moving in a direction of where things are moving, but tell us a little about that foundation and your company.
Well, here's what happened. I had discovered internet marketing by going to a live event. It was run by a guy named Armin Morin. It was a big seminar, which is really where all of the guys who are in Money Masters somehow, or the new Money Masters, met at big seminar at one of the earliest events. And I was what I'd call a second generation. I wasn't the first generation of guys like Frank and John Reese and Jeff Walker. But what happened was after leaving this event, I was like, what can I make? How can I become an expert on a topic? And I ended up creating a product called the Infomercial Toolkit. And this is before YouTube. It was before Google Video. And what I did over a period of 18 months with my business partner, who's still my business partner now, is analyzed and figured out how to sell with video. We adapted the classic television infomercial formula to the web. Well, about that time, YouTube came along, and also Google Video, which was the first video marketing service. And back in the old days, we had to store video on a server and pay a lot of money for bandwidth, and it would cost $4,000 to $10,000 a month. And at the same time, I was doing marketing for an alternative hospital in Mexico. And again, same thing, paying a lot of money for hosting, and we just shot marketing videos, put them online. So what happened is, I ended up putting the videos on Google Video because we could save money. And it was, you know, basically save $4,000 to $10,000 a month. Well, what happens is we're getting traffic seemingly from nowhere. And we checked our server logs, and sure enough, 15 to 25% of our traffic immediately was coming from Google Video. And a little bit later from YouTube when they launched YouTube. And it's like, oh, if you name your videos the same keywords people are searching for online, you get free traffic. And what's great about it is that traffic is pre-qualified. They already have met you, they know you, they probably trust you or like what you're talking about. So when they visit your website, if you have a good call to action or a good conversion strategy, instant money. So what happened is the client I had at the time called me up and said, whatever you're doing, keep on doing it. Our leads have increased about 4 times, and they're converting 3 times higher than they normally do. I was like, holy cow. So what wound up happening is I went to another internet marketing event. I met a guy who became our third partner. His name's Frank Souza. And he had bought the Infomercial Toolkit. And he just walked up to me and said, you know, I'm old, I'm not great looking, I've got a face made for radio, is the classic thing. And you really helped change my life. I'm not afraid to be on camera and do video online. He says, is there anything I can do to help you? And I said, well, as a matter of fact, I have a problem. I want to know if there's, you know, I'm a programmer, but I just didn't have good programming resources. And I sketched out the idea of creating a tool that would broadcast video to all of the video sites at the time, and then broadcast to social marketing sites, which were starting to come to pass at the time, like MySpace and later on Facebook. And I said, if there's some way we could just, you know, put a video in one place, click a button, and broadcast it out, it'd save me days of time that I'm doing it manually. I was paying 2 people to do it full time at that point. And he said, I've got a programmer, he's open right now. And a month and a half later, we had a prototype. I showed it to a couple people, and one guy said, I'll pay you $50,000 to use it if you don't sell it. Okay? I was like, huh. And within a week, someone else offered me $15,000 to do the same thing. So another month later, we released it as a product. We generated about $150,000 in a week. And that's how Traffic Geyser was born. And since then, it's multiplied many times over.
So give us an example of a real-life application of Traffic Geyser.
Okay, yeah.
Who would be a candidate to use it?
Great.
How do they use it? And what results from using it?
Good. All right. So here's what typically happens. Let's say you're a chiropractor or an author or an expert or a speaker. I could give you a real-life example of something I did recently. Now, he's a superstar, but this is Harvey McKay, okay? And, you know, he's a friend of a friend of a friend kind of a thing, and he contacted and said, is there something that we can do? So I had him come to this studio. We shot a bunch of videos right here, just Q&A like we're doing right now, and we put the videos into Traffic Geyser. Click the button, and they immediately get broadcast out to 30 video sites, 40 social bookmarking sites, a dozen or so social networking sites like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. It turns the video into a podcast. We have a tool that allows you to transcribe the video, so it turned it into an article, into a blog post. Then it gets added to a podcast. The whole point is it's one button, broadcast everywhere, and it converts the medium so it can be consumed in any format imaginable. So people can, you know, sit on their iPhone, for example, and receive this content. We also build iPhone apps now. It's built in. So the idea of push a button, broadcast everywhere all at once, and in every medium possible. What you get out of it is highly qualified traffic who see your stuff, visit your website, and hopefully buy what you have. In Harvey's case, and I can't take the credit for this because A, he was a superstar already. You know, he wrote Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive, and he had some media attention, but he just hit number 4 on the New York Times bestseller list. He hit Wall Street Journal top 10. He was on Larry King, you know, and so for an ordinary person, if I sat down with you right now and let's say, you know, it's a chiropractor or a business coach, or I don't care what it is. If all we did right now is I interviewed you, or you just sat and interviewed yourself using a $200 camera, or even your webcam in your computer, you named the video the same things that people are searching for. So maybe one of them is San Diego back pain relief, okay? And it was you talking about how you're a chiropractor, you've been working with a bunch of people for this long, you've helped people with their back pain, and you give away a tip on how to eliminate back pain without selling anything. People are like, hey, this guy's pretty cool. If at the end you say, why don't you come to my website, come in for a free consultation, or get this free guide, or whatever it is, the whole point is anyone can leverage getting traffic and building a brand, building a platform for themselves. And that's ultimately what Traffic Geyser is about, is broadcasting your message, capturing leads, and starting a conversation, building trust. So there you go.
So this is great. So many of the folks on this webinar have some level of information overload. We've been throwing out every month lots of amazing information with as much go-to instructional value as possible. Yeah, here we are one more time. We're sitting in this beautiful studio, surrounded by equipment. I mean, what does it take for someone to start to leverage the technology? You've mentioned a number of times already today, low cost, ease of use, $200 camera. You know, how does someone get started in this reasonably, you know, reasonably easy, knowing that it's a lot of information for them? Yeah. Well, here's the, you're asking about 4 questions, so I'll go through them bit by bit and interrupt me at any time. We've got high standards. It's, you know, I'm all about getting stuff done and answering the questions, so. We'll chuck it down. Yeah, exactly. So here's the first thing I tell folks. In fact, I think we could probably have someone grab one of my little cameras off camera, one of our camera people here. In my bag is a Kodak ZI-8 in the front panel. And we're going to see a hand deliver a camera. But what we have... That's almost magic. It is just like magic, in fact. One of my favorite little gadgets is a Kodak ZI-8. It costs under $200. In fact, you can find them for around $150, $160. And it's one of the first portable high-definition video cameras that literally, it works as easy as a flip, which periodically, or in the past was one of my favorite cameras, but now this has an external microphone input. So it means you get good audio. You can use a lavalier like we're using here. And for 20 bucks you get a microphone that plugs in, and you got great video and great audio. And here it comes, just like magic,
it will magically appear. Thank you. And here it is. So here's our handy little camera. And for $200, you can click the little red button, shoot some nice video. And one of the strategies that I teach people, and we talked about it in the course as well, is the 10 by 10 by 4.
Right.
Okay. And the basic premise behind it is, if we sat down and I said, okay, Matt, you're the VP of sales at Robbins, you're a sales expert. And if I sat down and said, Matt, what are the top 10 sales secrets that you've learned in the, I don't know, you've been doing this 20 some odd years, right? Or so, your professional career. Okay. You got the chops. You've surrounded yourself with some of the best and the best. You've figured out ways to sell very effectively, both just based on relationship, some of your technical skills. And I'd ask you, what are the top 10 questions someone should ask you about selling effectively, selling quickly? You could come up with top 10 of those in no time, right?
We'll jot them down.
Yeah. Okay. And then if I said, okay, come up with the should-ask questions, so which are, what are the questions that people don't know? And if I just said, look, Matt, what's a non-obvious strategy that someone should do? I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
Okay.
That will help them become a very powerful salesperson easily. And I'm going to just hold up the camera and have you introduce yourself, and then tell me what the question is and give me the answer. I'm going to click the button and go.
Hi, this is Matt Millen. I'm with Robbins Research International, and I am coming up with a non-obvious question to ask a superstar salesperson. I think one of the more non-obvious is an incredibly strong salesperson makes the product or service the star and not themselves. Too many salespeople are focused on themselves, how they're coming across, and what they're doing, as opposed to really why that product or service makes so much sense for their client and satisfies a need that they have.
Great. And if you were going to come up with an example, a sample, I know I'm putting you on the spot right now,
great.
But can you think of a story, a specific example where you've seen this work really, really well? What would it be?
It happens all the time. Many of the folks that are watching this or listening to this today have been to an event with Tony, and we'll be speaking with our clients on site about what's next for them. And the conversation needs to be, what are they looking to accomplish? What are they looking to achieve? What's an area of life that they're looking to set even a higher level or a higher standard of achievement, as opposed to where the event's going to be, who's the event going to be at, how much does the event cost. So really looking at the outcome and really, again, focusing in on the client, and then positioning the product as the solution. The product is the star, not myself presenting that product.
Great. So if I wanted to find out more, where would we go? And you could just make up a domain, so you'd tell me where I can go get
I'd make up TonyRobbins.com, but hey, you could go to AnthonyRobbins.com.
Yeah, you could
too.
do TonyRobbins.com/sales tips. We're just making that up.
Yeah.
But that's where you can go and get 20 free videos just like this one that'll answer the top questions that most salespeople need to ask to become extraordinary salespeople.
That's great.
Okay. Now, that whole dialogue, including our interjection, was under 2 minutes.
Okay.
So
on a $200 camera.
Yeah, exactly. And it's high definition. It looks great. So this, we could basically take this little chip right out of the camera like this, plug it into our PC, put it into Traffic Geyser, click the upload and name it, maybe something like Superstar Sales Tips from Tony Robbins, Director of Sales or VP of Sales, okay? Well, that is going to get some love just because it's got Tony Robbins in it, right? And I can guarantee you the people who would be watching that, who would be interested in more, would be people who are probably sales professionals, okay? Then, on that page that they go to, if it was TonyRobbins.com/sales tips, you'd come on and say, hi, my name is Dan Millman, Mandilman, and I'd love to give you 20 free videos that'll teach you some of the greatest secrets I've learned about working with Tony and doing sales, blah, 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 blah. Enter your contact information, I'll give you these free videos. Well, all those videos become what we call traffic magnets. They're out there, or little money magnets, as Frank Kern would call them. But they're driving traffic to a single place. You're giving away the same things that you're broadcasting all over the internet, because usually people will find one or find two that will bring them in. Well, the objective then is 20 of these things are going to generate a fair amount of traffic and visibility for you. They're going to increase how many times you're seen in Google and Yahoo and Bing, which was once MSN. You've got this great offer. Give me your contact information. I'll give you more cool stuff. If you're smart, when you upload your video, you'll check the little box that says transcribe this for me. Now you've got the article, you've got the blog post. They can download it, they can read it. They can consume this stuff on their iPhone, on the recently released, very sexy iPad, and you know, or whatever device they have, laptop, desktop, soon the television. You know, new TVs have YouTube built in now. So we're suddenly broadcasting to the entire connected planet. It's a fantastic way to establish yourself as an expert, and anyone can answer questions. Anyone can get into their passionate state. And I believe the idea, you know, you have people who are like afraid of being on camera, but look, if you'd asked them, let's say 5 years ago, you know, do you have a cell phone? Or maybe 10 years ago, whatever it is, a fax machine, using email, they'd be like, I'll never use email. I'm not going to use a fax machine, you know. I'm never going to, I love my horse. I'm not going to use those newfangled cars. Look, there's always resistance to this stuff. And I believe that using a camera to communicate is going to be as commonplace as carrying around a mobile phone now. We got 4.5 billion of them in use worldwide. If you're not building your own platform, if you're not transmitting your story and communicating your knowledge and expertise, you are dead. Your business is screwed. There we go.
That's powerful.
That's my opinion. I'm sticking with it.
So we've got the camera.
We got the camera.
We've got the 1010.
We got the 10-10-4, yeah.
So what's the 4?
Okay, so the 4 is at the end of every video, you say, if you want more, go here. If you'd like 20 free videos just like this one, and if this were a free special report, and this free special report, which are all of the videos transcribed and put in a PDF document that you can easily download, go to mywebsite.com. Okay? That's the call to action, as we say. The second of the 4 is, hi, my name is so-and-so. I help blank do blank even if blank. I help people who hate the idea of being on video, are completely terrified of being on camera, and don't think they have anything of value to share with the world. Correct that problem in minutes. I will give you the secrets on how to feel comfortable on camera, broadcast your message to the entire connected planet, and I'll help you get there in less than an hour. Enter your contact information, I'll give you 20 free videos. So that's your, what we call our squeeze page or lead page video. Okay? Then the next thing is the thank you page video. That's the 3 of the 4. Thank you for entering your contact information. I'm not going to do anything naughty with it, and I just sent you a link to all the free stuff. Check your email box or your mailbox right now. Click on it, and you'll get all the goodies. And the 4th is the what we call the Buy My Stuff video. Okay, so that's essentially, look, and this is what we did with Harvey. In fact, I'm going to just, I don't know if we have the bottom third, but I've got a website here. It's McKaybook.com. It's probably one of the best examples of a great 10-10-4 in action. But if you go to McKaybook.com, you'll see this and witness the entire process and from start to finish. So you can watch the video, enter your email address, go through the process, and we give away some great goodies. And at the end, he's basically saying, I gave you this free stuff. I'd like to ask you to do one more thing. He basically says, buy my book. Okay? And when you buy my book and forward your receipt to this email address, I'm going to give you even more cool free stuff. Okay? Well, what's great about that is it works like crazy. It'll work in any business. Anyone can do it. And they can literally, most people can come up with their top 10 and their FAQs and their should-ask questions in about an hour. Okay, they can come up with 100 of each. Because once you start this, you don't realize until you start how much you actually know about the things that you're good at. And if you think you know nothing about nothing, act as a reporter and interview someone who does.
Great.
So
the technology is here.
Yeah. Was that too long?
That was great.
Okay.
I asked 4 questions.
Yeah.
You know, but so the technology's here. The price points seem very affordable.
It's free,
basically. When I speak with you, we push a button and it goes out and it gets transcribed in blog posts. So what percentage of businesses are taking advantage of this easy-to-use, low-cost technology where, according to you, you'll be out of business at some point if you don't embrace it?
Here's the thing is, we live in a video world. Right now, it's there are over 1 billion videos get watched a day on YouTube now. Okay, I can't remember how many. It's something like 24 hours of content are uploaded every minute on YouTube. Something to that. It's an insane amount. Okay, whatever it is, it's like, you got to be kidding me. And the whole idea, if you think about it, it wasn't long ago that you look at the publishing business. Okay, the publishing business is hosed right now. They stood in between the author and the customer. They were a gateway, okay? Television, newspapers, magazine, radio, virtually every old school medium is having a terrible time staying in business right now because you got blogs, okay? I can broadcast and transmit my message to everyone with the click of a button for free, essentially. So to answer your question, right now there are there are very few businesses that are online and using, video, for example, effectively. But it's growing at a huge number. And what I can tell you is when I go out and I speak and I talk, and let's say I'm at a newbie audience, someone who's unsophisticated, I'll ask how many people have video online right now, and you might see like 15% of the room. And then I say, how many of you know you need to be using it? Everyone will raise their hands. They know they need it. They don't know where to begin. This is confusing and overwhelming. It's classic, and it all begins with answering questions and just being an expert. So, again, in terms of raw numbers, I've seen I think in the United States, there's like 17 million businesses out of the 30-some million still aren't even online. Okay, and the Yellow Pages, as of the past year or so, is being used less than half of the time. Okay, it's about Google. It's so easy. You just bring up your smartphone, and there's, I can't remember how many millions there are in the United States right now, but I think roughly a third of all the phones in use are smartphones right now. I think we're running around 80 million iPhones at the time that we're making this are in use. They're selling them like hotcakes. Same thing with BlackBerries and Android phones from Google. So, you just bring this thing up, you type in whatever you're looking for. You got applications that, direct you based upon proximity, telling you where the nearest business is with the most ratings, with the most people. You can tell at a glance if your friends are there. I mean, you can't get any of that from old school media, and it's like, who cares? It's not accountable. Why is Google the biggest advertising agency in the world suddenly? It's because little classified ads anyone can make with these little AdWords are cheap, relatively. They're absolutely accountable for, and you don't pay unless someone uses them. It's, again, I wouldn't say all old school media is dead. I'd never say something like that. It's just less effective and will continue to be less effective.
So this is great. So before I move on, I think I asked some of the frequently asked questions, and I missed a should ask question, as you being the expert.
Yeah. I even brought up a little note for myself which is, let's see. I am going to give you one that people... Here's the biggest thing. The biggest mistake that I see people make is they try to... Well, there's a few mistakes, okay? The first one is they try to go after some place where there isn't a market or it's not profitable. So you want to focus on high return products and services. And for example, coaching is a great business to be in, okay? Because you can turn your knowledge into an information product and you can sell that, which means if you can get continuity income rolling in, that means you are not stuck in the cycle of having the 30-day monster constantly chasing you. No one likes that. It's like that pressure of my bills are due, right? And just imagine if you have all of your basic expenses covered, so no matter what, you're cool, and you wouldn't have to worry. So everything else you do is for building your platform and making more money and building your base, okay? Everyone should have that privilege, in my opinion. And it all starts with just turning your knowledge into content. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is they might spend all their time figuring out how they're going to create that product. without building what's known as a platform first,
Okay.
which means, what's a platform? It's who knows you, they care about you, they like you, they trust you, they understand what you're about, who you associate with, and know that you are the solution for their needs. And this is the biggest problem a lot of authors have, because they spend all years and years writing a book, and they're like, okay, I'm going to get this thing published. And it's like, well, for one thing, it's a backwards way of doing this, but it's like, if you want to get published, what you want to do is blog. You want to start creating videos, create a base, create a mailing list of having 5,000, 10,000, 25,000 people who are loyal and love you and follow you. And then when you go to the publisher, you're like, I've got a database of 50,000 people, and every time I send out an email, I get 1,000 comments on my blog. They're going to be like, you are signed up, okay? We want you. So the whole idea of nobody knows about you, and welcome to the world of nobody cares. Population 6 billion. And I stole that from a guy I love. His name is Hugh McLeod. There's this great book called Ignore Everybody. But I'm going to repeat it. He's got a little cartoon in here that says, welcome to it's a sign for a small town called Nobody Cares, population 6 billion. The fact of the matter is, no one's sitting around thinking about you, unless you're Bono or Oprah. What do they got? They got platform. They got a ton of people who love them, know them, trust them. And where did it come from? Speaking with passion, becoming an expert on a topic, sharing their message with the world because they have to. And creating that sense of urgency in your life is critically important to creating that amazing connection with people. And it just comes back. It's why is the 10-10-4 so popular and powerful? It's because it starts with the give. It starts with giving away your information and proving to people that you are an expert and an authority on some topic.
Yeah, that's great. So one of the things you just mentioned was, making sure there was some critical mass to the market that you were choosing to be. What if I'm already in business and I want to find out, with the shifting times, new technology, do I still conduct commerce in a market that's growing or has that critical mass? How would I figure that out?
Okay, well, I think the biggest key and the secret is, if you have a business, you need to survey your audience. And like in our business right now, I'll give our viewers and listeners what I believe is the most powerful question you can ask. And it is, tell me about your business. Okay? People will write their entire life stories inside of a little box and tell you everything you need to know so you can discover what their pains are. And then a secondary question is, what is the #1 challenge you are experiencing right now? Okay? It works for personal, it works for business. And invariably, they'll tell you their life story. So I think every business, I don't care if you're an offline brick and mortar restaurant or you name it, you got to find out and learn more about your customer. And when you think about it, the biggest challenge that we all have as marketers is we want to be able to click a magic button, broadcast one message to everyone, and have everyone love us and buy our stuff for life. Okay? I always say, I want $1 billion a second forever. Okay? But the whole thing is, what are you going to do to get it? And the answer is, you've got to build this amazing bond of trust with your customers. And you have to treat them as individuals, because behind the glass of the screen is a person with passion, love, desire, need, compassion, pain and problems and bills and pressures that, they just don't, they're confused and overwhelmed. And look, overwhelm is not brand new. It's existed forever. People have been writing about overwhelm the same way they do now since there was a printing press. In fact, I saw a quote it was an article written in New Yorker magazine, and it was like writing about how technology is just so difficult to keep track of, and the news and the bad things that are happening. And the published date of it was like 1850 in New Yorker magazine, So it's all the same. It's just about the psychology. It's about relationships. This is a faster, more effective, and more efficient way of doing it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So let's do this. So let's kind of start looking forward for a moment.
Yeah.
So we've talked about where you came from. We've talked about what's going on now. Let's look in the future. We, in the monthly webinars. We haven't yet talked about an iPhone app. I know that came up. You showed the new Apple iPad.
We'll talk about it a little bit more.
So let's talk about not only those, but how does it all integrate and where's it all going?
Okay. So,
was that too much to ask, by the way?
No, it isn't. So maybe just, again, to bring this all home, I think, the key to being successful in any business, no matter who you are, what you are, is establish yourself as the visible expert and authority. Pick a niche, pick a tiny niche, and become the expert on that topic. And it all comes from your point of view, answering questions. Okay? And so that's number one. Number two is you have to go after a market that there is a market for that product or that service, right? And building the relationship, finding out and creating the connections. So the beauty is the technology. What can we use? You know, my vision, my goal, and what really drives me every day, keeps me rolling with Traffic Geyser, is this idea of a one-button, one-click mechanism to broadcast content, to broadcast you everywhere instantly. Okay, and that's what our moniker is: you everywhere now. Push the make it go button, for whatever that's worth. So the idea is to desktop, to laptop, to television, to mobile. Now we've got this fabulous new gadget, this iPad. Might not be new when everyone else is watching it. And look, I'm not in love with a specific thing. I think this is a really cool deal. But this is the New York Times. I brought this up. It looks like a newspaper. I can click instantly and zoom in and read stuff and move around. And the next generation of content that we're going to see is going to be fully interactive, fully immersive, and the tools available to publish. I mean, if someone's like, oh my God, my head's spinning, I could never do this. Here's the deal. You can click a button. We have a tool that lets you build an iPhone app inside Traffic Geyser, for example. All right? Fill in a form, click a button, it builds you an app. You've got access to tens of millions of people who can download this and learn about you, your products, your services. Okay? The same tool is broadcasting to 1.74 billion internet-connected users worldwide. The reason this is so powerful is, I think of it as, imagine a piece of glass where you can look through it and see every piece of information and content mankind has ever created. You can watch TV, you can watch movies, you can listen to music, you can learn. It's a portable university. MIT is online for free. Okay? All the big colleges give their content away now. It's crazy. You can become a worldwide educator and authority. Right now we're making a show, and yes, this is a more elaborate set, but look, you can use a webcam and broadcast to the connected planet right now for free, and build relationships with people everywhere, and collect information and create a connection. And you could live in you could be doing this out of Starbucks. It's like on a, or at McDonald's, a free Wi-Fi channel. They give it away now. Not that I'm endorsing them or anything like that. But, so I think the only challenge people have to realize is just overcoming the concept that there are barriers anymore. There is no barrier except what's in between your ears. And you have to think and broadcast globally and think about building relationships in every corner of the globe. So the future is in creating interactive multimedia relationships, broadcasting everywhere, and it's about good old-fashioned connection. It's not all about belly-to-belly relationships anymore, which still are great, but it's the idea of leverage, about multiplying you. And one of the best examples I can give you is Gary Vaynerchuk, who wrote Crush It. And he grew up, he's a immigrant son of Russian Jews from New Jersey. Started Wine Library TV, and Wine Library was this place that they grew. And he basically took the little family business, started a wine show with a flip, okay? Created hundreds of episodes, and it was just him sitting down. He'd sit down, hold the wine, and go like this. Wow, this is really great, and talk about the wine. And he broke all the rules, and he's annoying, he's loud, he's obnoxious. He broke the mold, and he basically turned every wine snob into a hater. You know, they're like, because he was basically saying, look, what they're telling you is bull. He's a myth buster, but he's entertaining. Again, he created this little podcast, and soon had hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter and Facebook, and
they show them at gas stations on those little screens on the pumps.
it's insane.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, and so what happened? He wrote a book, or got a book deal without writing the book first. He got a 7-figure advance, 10-book deal. Now he's got a consulting organization. The biggest brands in the world are paying him 6-figure monthly retainers just to listen to him and his brother. He's being pursued for movies. You know, he's now become an angel investor. He's got sick money, as the saying goes. I mean, he's become wealthy beyond his imagination. And I just saw an interview with him. I was at an event with a friend of mine, Yannick Silver, another marketer. And, you know, one of the audience members just said, what is it? What's the single thing that made you so successful? And his answer was, I care. I still respond to over 1,000 emails a day. I try to respond every Twitter note. Now, I'm sure his wife just loves that, but she knew what she was getting into. He's got a baby girl, and you know, he's got I can't remember if it's 1 or 2 kids, but he's just all about connection. He's about caring and about sharing his passions. And you know, someone will say, well, how does that apply to me? It applies to everyone. That's something that I have 2 books that I highly, highly recommend. This is one of them, is Ignore Everybody. This guy is hysterical, but he started, this is Hugh MacLeod, he started his career as a, let's see, it was just a copywriter in New York City, and what he did at night is he'd make little cartoons on the back of business cards. And he built a platform on the basis of that. And now this guy is another one of these superstar studs who, as he says, I get to follow my passions and get paid very well for it. The next one, this is an exceptional book by Seth Godin. It's called Linchpin. Are You Indispensable? And it's about becoming indispensable. And anyone who's lost their job or feels like the world has kind of pulled the rug out from underneath them, the reason why is because they are not indispensable. And this is all about what it takes to become indispensable.
That's great.
And so again, I don't know if I answered your question, but the technology can become a terrible crutch. And what we're talking about is not about the technology. It's about the relationship. It's about the caring. It's about the passion. It's about opening up your heart and being able to communicate how you feel and empathizing with an audience of potentially billions of people. And they will flock to you.
Yeah, I think that's a really important message, because one of the things we've done with the new Money Masters series is we balanced the success with the lifestyle component, the passion, and the human involvement. So you know, I love the tie-in.
Yeah.
And I really respect that, and it comes through in everything you do and how you've served in the opportunities that we've worked together on. Yeah. Tell me though, you know, we've talked about the iPhone app a little bit. How would I even venture is this something for me in my market with my clients? Is it worth the investment? How much work or time does it take? Okay. And where do they start showing up? You know, Geico has one that comes out that it's like the glove box app. And, and you know, I have a mobile home, and there's one, there's a motorhome app that helps you calculate stuff. I mean, they're coming up everywhere, right? So how do you know if it's something that you should invest in and if it complements your strategy? Okay.
Well, here again, I will. I'm going to see if this. Actually, I haven't tested this out, but this is. I'll see if the media is on here. This is the Traffic Geyser app.
Okay.
And it doesn't look like I've downloaded the media, but I have it on my iPhone. But this is what Traffic Geyser builds, and what it allows you to do. And again, the whole goal is to have like a single point-and-click interface where you fill in a form. In fact, I built an app for Tony that we've, you know, we're about ready to submit. And so we connect a blog.
Right.
Traffic Geyser builds you a blog. It takes like 10 seconds, fill in a form, instant blog. A podcast. You can push audio, video, PDF documents, catalogs, brochures, maps, anything you want, okay? And all that content gets delivered right to the customer. Okay, so the whole idea is it's always on. Next, you've got your Twitter feed. So all the messages that you are tweeting or twittering, I guess you could say, here they are. They show up here, everything that I've twittered. So you've got like a real-time mechanism for delivering your content. You've got a contact form. You've got an about screen so you can have links. And then you've got a calendar. Everything that you do, everything that you have going on, all your live events, if you have them. So the goal and objective here is, A, everyone should be blogging right now, every business owner, and you can get someone to do it for you if you aren't already. And you need to be creating some sort of content if you're going to win, because in the old days you could just put up a website and maybe the search engines might find you or you'd pay to get some traffic. But the search engines reward you for frequent, relevant content.
Right.
And the key word is news. What is news? It's new news. As soon as it's made, it's old. Now, whoever makes the most news is the winner. Whoever makes the most news with valuable content that solves people's problems and shows you care is the winner. If you are not making news, you are going to not show up. You are not indispensable. You are a dinosaur. You will become, essentially an irrelevant antique. And that's what this game is about. The new media is about being indispensable to your followers and building a base. And tasks have no value anymore. That's what being a linchpin is all about. That's why you can go out and use this mechanical Turk to do little tiny jobs for a penny or a nickel. They're outsourced to the third world or wherever it is. You don't even know, you don't even care, it just gets done. So the people who have the most value are artists in their own right, okay? Artists of sales, okay? People who bring people together. That has massive value. People who make introductions. People who put a connection together. Deal makers, hustlers, artists, writers, authors. Now, if you're just writing an article and you're like, that's all I'm going to do, I'm going to write an article and I'm going to make a living and that's an art. Well, it's like, no, you've got to be someone who's going out and creating some value, showing people, teachers. One of my greatest hopes is that the teaching profession will become a great profession once again. And what I mean by that is something where people realize the value. We have an opportunity right now in this world where great teachers can emerge from anywhere in the world and share their knowledge and be paid well for it. They can become the next rock star. That's what I'd look for, is the next Bono as a teacher. You know, and in a way it's kind of happened in our world. I mean, Frank Kern is Bono. He's Mick Jagger in our community. It's a very tiny community of, maybe a couple million. But he's been paid and rewarded very well for it. He is a linchpin. He's an entertainer. He's an educator. He's interesting. He's all these guys are. They're amazing. And as soon as their technology, their know-how gets used and applied in the Fortune 500 environment, look out. And that's where the future is going. So to go back to answering your question, if you know how to use a web browser, you can do this. The mindset, which is most important, is, are you willing to step up and become vulnerable and share your passion? This is a game of psychology. It's not a game of technology.
That's a great
Did I answer your question?
That's a great distinction, by the way.
Yes.
Say that again.
This is, okay, it's not about the technology, it's about the psychology. Caring, connection, doing good work. Oh, yeah. And questions. We've had people asking questions, and I know offline we want to make sure.
And we want them.
And maybe one thing we should do is, if it's easy, can you take the camera off the tripod? And offline here, what we're going to do is show, we do have some friends offline who are working with us today. We have Gina and Amy. And we've got some live interaction going on, and I just want to first of all thank them because they put this thing together and created the connection, and hopefully you've been chatting offline. Has all the technology been working fine and behaving?
All good.
Awesome. I saw some scrambling going on off screen a little while ago, so here we go. What kind of questions do we have?
Okay, so Jim is asking, hey Mike, if I use Traffic Geyser, what format should I shoot the video in? I have a Canon HG20.
Okay, great. So I will answer that question. I assume I'll just look at the big camera right now. The answer is this. you can upload your video in any format because Traffic Geyser will actually convert it for you. Now, I am an unabashed Macintosh fanatic, and again, to me, I don't really care about the hardware. I care about getting the results. I've found that using a Mac is you will get results a lot faster. So as far as a camera, spend whatever you can spend. The more you spend, usually the better the quality. But you can start with one of these, start your blog, start broadcasting, make some money, and buy more cool stuff, if that's what you like. And that's what works really, really well.
Great. And he also has one more question from there. He said, should I still set up a YouTube page for all my videos, which will be the capsule reviews?
Great.
Yeah.
I know the question, so I'm going to repeat it this time in case offline the other question was what format should I put my video in. But should I still use a YouTube page? And absolutely is the answer. I think YouTube is still and will continue to become the cornerstone of any marketer's life. And YouTube, although it's not responsible from Traffic Geyser's perspective for getting all of the traffic to you, because when we broadcast out to 30 different websites and all these other places, it's like spokes on a wheel. So all that traffic from all these places ends up giving you what we call link love. It's visibility. But the YouTube channel is a place where you gain followers. People track that, and they can choose to get notifications when you put new content up. And more, YouTube is going to be built into virtually every gadget and device, like on the iPad, on the iPhone, on your Android phone. TVs now have YouTube built in. You know, virtually any gadget. You get a new DVD player right now, which basically DVDs are now more or less obsolete already. But because you can have instant download everywhere. I mean, this weekend I was sitting here with my son watching Netflix on my iPad. We're, you know, it's crazy. So YouTube, to answer the question, is a hub. It's a great place, and spending a little time on that in your Facebook fan page. Those are two areas as of this moment that are very, very valuable. It's valuable real estate. And I'm not a big believer in spending all your time on Facebook. Look, screwing around with that to me can be a big waste of time, but it's a place to put a bunch of stuff where people can get to know you, like you, trust you, meet you, connect with you, and then you can push them to a lead capture page where you can connect, you know, capture the email address and start developing an ongoing relationship.
Great.
What else do we have? Anything else? It's juicy.
Just looking around, Gina. Do you have anything there? Not yet.
Okay. Well, if we have any other questions,
let me put one out.
Yeah, go ahead. We can put the other camera back on the tripod here and always turn back. All right, go for it.
So we've talked about some of the business applications, but about just personally. I mean, how would I, either as an enthusiast or a hobbyist or anywhere, where in my personal life might I leverage some of this technology?
Yeah. My first answer is there's no difference. You are a brand, and if you don't treat yourself as a valuable, indispensable linchpin right now, you are an antique. You will cease to become valuable. And that is harsh and it's cold. I believe it to be absolutely true. And again, I highly recommend this wonderful book. I get paid nothing. I actually don't know Seth, but he loves my work. No, I'm just kidding. But here's the deal. There is no difference. The more value, if you think about it, if you have a following, if you have a tribe, if you have content, you will become more valuable, whether it's as an employee, as a contractor, or as an indispensable resource to the entire connected planet. And again, I don't care what your task is, what your specialty is, we're all in the personal value building business. So to answer your question though, I'm going to answer it in the way you asked. Did you see the movie Julie and Julia?
I did not.
Okay. Basically it was a story about a woman named Julie who followed Julia Child and loved her stuff. Now, Julia Child was, I think she may have been still alive at the time that she was doing this, but Julie worked for and this is a true story, she worked for a government organization that was responsible for, after 9/11, delivering insurance claims and doling out a certain amount of money. So basically, she was in the bad news business, telling people that no matter how terrible their situation was, they didn't qualify. Doing what insurance companies do, right? And nothing against insurance companies. So anyway, but she hated her job, and what she did though is she cooked. She loved to cook, and her husband loved her cooking. And she was just trying to find something that she's passionate about. And all of her friends were these wealthy realtors and stuff like that. And she was like, I don't know what to do. And finally, one of her friends was blogging and talking about it. And she says, well, I'm going to start a blog. What am I going to blog about? Well, what ended up happening was she got the Julia Child cookbook. And her goal was to do all the recipes in the book. And there was something like 375 or 380 or 400, something. It was more than one, but do all of the recipes and cook everything in the book over a period of a year. Wow. And blog about it. So that's what she set out to do, and it taxed all of her relationships. And her husband started to be like, this is all about you. It's all about your blog. It's all about this. And it's like, no, she just had to do it. It turned into an addiction. But what wound up happening, and it was like probably 2/3 of the way into the book, she started having a following. Well, people started reading about it, and they loved reading about what she talked about. Okay, she wasn't an expert. She wasn't the author of the book. She was just following a book and doing something that she was passionate about and writing about it. Well, eventually, a writer got hold of it and wrote a story about her. Well, eventually, the New York Times wrote about her. And then, whoop, 30 publishers contacted her and wanted her to write a book. And then a movie deal, and then another book opportunity, and then basically, here we are, a true story where she just took a little idea, a free blog, and had this amazing following of people, and she basically became a little cult favorite over a period of time.
Well, wonderful story, and so let's say Julia's heading off, starting on this path of 400 over 365, blogging daily. Where's this tipping point? I mean, how do people start to figure out in this following and kind of walk through the process for people that aren't doing this of how you take this passion and you just do what you're doing because you want to do it, and people end up following? How does that happen?
Well, here's what's really interesting. While I watched that movie, I went completely insane in my chair because she wasn't monetizing it. Why wasn't she making videos? I was like, she doesn't have a podcast? What kind of crazy? She's not collecting names. I was just going I was squirming in my seat. My wife's like, what's going on over here? I was like, I can't believe she's not making money. I'm sure you sent her a business plan. Oh, yeah. No, it was just like I was going crazy. And because in my world, here's what happens. I'll give you some real world numbers. I'm a gadget freak, if it isn't obvious already. I buy every single toy, and it used to drive my wife nuts. Drove my ex-wife nuts. Okay, it was like, and I was always like, no, these are tools. And the thing is you reach a tipping point in my career where I started to make a lot more money, because of my tools, because of my passion. But I started a little hobby project. It's called Mike's Gadget Giveaway. Okay. So what I do is I review gadgets and make a video about a gadget that I like and that I use that saves you time and makes you money. Well, I focus a lot of these gadgets on video-related things because I know that people who will find my videos, and then at the end of each one I say, if you'd like to win, like I'm going to do a Mike's Gadget giveaway about the iPad, all right? So I'll say, if you'd like to win one, go to mikesgadgetgiveaway.com, sign up. Once a month I give away a great gadget, and I do a full review. So what winds up happening then is out of every, and these are the typical numbers, out of every 100 viewers you get for a video that has a call to action at the end, I'd say you're going to get between 15 and 30 visitors. Okay. And then from that, if you have a lead capture page, you will get typically anywhere from 15 to 40% of the visitors will give you their email address for more stuff. Okay. So and then from there, if you ask them to buy something or try something out, and that's what we did. Remember when Tony did the, let's see, is it Creating Lasting Change product? Yes. Okay. We used the same exact strategy. You come in, you consume the free stuff, and you said, look, I have this cool thing. Let's just pretend this is the box of stuff. He says, I've got this great product. I'd like to send it to you for the cost of shipping and handling. If you like it, keep it. We'll bill you in 30 days. If you don't like it, send it back. Okay. Well, when you just put an offer like that of the buy my stuff on a page, after someone signs up for free, if your offer's good and has what's called the risk reversal, a guarantee where it's just shipping and handling, it's not uncommon to get 15 to 30% of those people to try it out. So again, let's do real world numbers. I can talk about this now. So right now we're looking at the screen, this Harvey McKay page on the screen. We made a bunch of these videos. I interviewed them, made 16 little FAQ should ask question videos. We broadcast them out. And for every 1,000 people who visit this webpage, 400 opt in. That's a 40% conversion rate, okay? And that's because the offer is great. We give away four free guides and 16 videos, okay? It's pretty neat. And we tested the heck out of this. We had different pages with different colors and different objects and graphics and stuff on it. Well then, so let's say we listen to the video, we love this thing, and I type in my name at domain.com, whatever it is, okay? And I click on the button, and what happens next is it goes to the thank you page. Now, on the thank you page, Harvey comes back and says, thank you for entering your contact information. I sent you a VIP pass to all the free goodies. And then he says, I've got one more thing. I'd like you to buy my book. And when you do, you'll get 2 more free cool things. Well,
hey, this is Harvey.
There's Harvey.
Thank you for entering your contact information.
There you go. Thank you for entering. And out of the 400 people who come to this page, make it through, 100 of them click that button and buy the book. Okay, 25% end up going to Amazon. All right, so check that out. Pretty cool. So they come here, they click on that. So that means that approximately for every 1,000 people who come to the page, 100 are buying the book. Them's is good numbers.
Yeah, 10%.
Okay, it's very good. Now I'd say it's unusually high because we spent some time putting this together, but the ordinary traffic geyser person, what would they have? Let's say you are a plumber, okay? Well, you can have the plumber guide and the guide that we teach people how to build businesses around this.
Right.
And it's like, you give away a free buyer's guide. We even give you the pre-written guide. You put your business type on it, all right? It's done for you. We give you the script to use. It's done for you. But you can we teach you how to virtually get a Google Top 10 in a couple of hours, okay? So the objective is you get you make the video, you generate the traffic, and then at the end, it'll be like, here's a discount coupon, or tell me about your business and I'll do a free consultation. If you're a business coach, if you're an author, again, I don't care what business you're in, you can demonstrate results, demonstrate proof, and provide a solution that improves the quality of their life. Give me a business that you think it won't work with, I'll give you a solution. It works for everything. Whew.
Awesome.
I think I did too much talking.
That was great.
All right.
A lot of value.
Okay. That's the
goal. A lot of
goal.
value.
That's the goal. It's just like, putting this together. And my prediction is in time, what's going to come next? I think television is going to be completely reinvented. It already is. Podcasting is television reinvented. But the idea of what we're doing right now, imagine if we did a show like this once a week and interacted with our viewers. They get to do it in real time. So we build this connection. Look, Tony can't do this well, he does a great job of it at a live event, but he could actually probably serve even more people by chatting. And look, a live event, you can't replace that, especially with Tony. But the idea of what if he could access 100,000 at once, okay, instead of 2,700 or 3,000 in a room, okay, and be able to do this from Fiji, okay, and not only do the live event, but then be able to broadcast it. But again, let's bring it back to, someone smaller. You have a laptop with a webcam built in, and you know, you put out you say, look, I'm going to teach you how to collect snails. Okay, whatever. That's not a good niche. I've investigated it. But, you know, you post your invitation on Facebook. You put it on Twitter. You put it on Facebook. You make a little video and you broadcast it on YouTube. You put it into Traffic Geyser. You press the go button, and boom. You know, it starts small. It might only be, let's say you got 50 people to attend your live broadcast or your teleseminar. You give them great value, and at the end you'd say, look, I'd love to teach you more. I got to make a living too. I've got a special offer for you. If you, you know, visit this website or do whatever the action is, I'll give you a free lesson, free consultation. You'll be billed $300 after the first session. So the first one's on me. It's my risk. After that, you'll be billed, you know, $30 or $300, $3,000, whatever it is. You teach, you record it. Now you got a product. Okay. And, you know, the formula is the same for anyone, anywhere. And it all begins with, is there a market for your stuff? And, you know, I can show you how to detect if there's a market if you want. 30 seconds?
Yeah, we'll do that. We've got one more question.
One more question.
And the other thing I'll just say in all of this is that there's this theme as we've been doing these monthly webinars on, you know, the productization and the opportunity inherent in all of this.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is.
But show us.
Okay, so here's how you detect if there is a market. Now, there's a lot of different tools out there. I'm going to give you one of them is good old-fashioned Google. This is where I start my research and pick a topic, any topic. Maybe one of our viewers, one of our visitors. Is there something that we could pick? Tell me about your business. What business are you in? And maybe you ask a question while you're while we're doing this, and
I think Amy has a question.
Okay, you have a good one?
Yes.
Okay.
Colin would like to know, what are some examples of opt-in giveaways?
Okay, some examples of opt-in giveaways. Well, number one is you give away the videos that you make of you answering questions.
Right.
That's the first great easy one. And the next one is a buyer's guide, or what we call a Mythbuster buyer's guide. You know, one of the things that we use with small businesses, and we've got a guy, we call him Fireman Mike Lemoyne. He made like $5,000 in 4 hours. And this is the formula. It was create a free buyer's guide, and it was how to, let's see, how to prevent house painters from, basically it's how to not get screwed by a house painter.
Okay.
The 10 things you need to know before you hire an Albuquerque house painter. Okay, so he's focused on a specific niche, a specific location, and it's just like the top 10 things you should look for, the questions you should ask. Okay, and what it does is you can position yourself as being the clear winner. You can negate your competition in your buyer's guide. So you're the only obvious choice. So along with a couple of videos where people get to meet you, know you, like you, and
get comfortable.
And so, and again, you do it without being overly salesy. You just provide answers to questions. You know, you have to let them decide if they're ready to buy from you, not you push, 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 push. So a free consultation is another very effective giveaway where someone gets to talk to you and you'll say 15-minute free conversation. Really, it's an assessment where you ask them some questions. Tell me about your business. What's your biggest challenge that you're suffering? And what do you want to accomplish or overcome?
That's great.
Right? And that'd be it. So any business types?
Yeah, we've got a couple businesses here. Damien is in the business of selling kids' toys.
Kids' toys, okay.
Also organic dog treats.
Organic dog treats. Love it. Okay. So these are great. So I'm going to do children's toy reviews, okay? Because I think there should be a children's toy review show where you just get toys and you actually show them and talk about them and talk about why they're safe, and you do one product. This is a really powerful strategy because you can associate your name with a great brand or a great product, you know? And, you know, how did I do it? I did it with Harvey McKay.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I've done it with Tony.
Yeah.
You know, by working with him, I've had this opportunity. It's, you know, Kodak. I'm right now talking to the chief marketing officer from Kodak about doing deals. All right? What if we got to put Traffic Geyser or associate Traffic Geyser with these Kodak cameras? I'd like that deal. Access to tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of customers. So here we go. So here's what I'll do. Children's toy reviews. Here's the first thing. You'll notice that there's only one sponsored link. that's an indicator that this is not a profitable niche, in my opinion, okay? If there are not a lot of sponsored links, and you'll see that there are 13,200,000 competing pages, low probability that you can succeed. However, what I would do is pick a niche, okay? So, girls' doll reviews, okay? You pick a little niche, or maybe it would be African American doll toy reviews, for example. The narrower the niche, sometimes that's where the biggest money is. Again, toys, I don't know where the big money would be with the toy thing, but let's do, what was the other one?
Organic dog treats.
Organic dog treats. Okay, this one's actually, a myth buster would be, okay, look at this. Whoa, listen to that iPhone drop. So, check this out. This is a perfect one. Look at all those sponsored links over here on the right. Nice. Very nice. And across here, look at this. 409,000 competing pages. That's squat, okay? In my world, if you got 300,000, or let's say it's 500,000 or less, very high probability that you can achieve a Google Top 10 by making a video and naming it Organic Dog Treats. I'd create a video called Best Organic Dog Treats, okay? And you'd actually talk about them and then send people to come over and get a free sample. Shipping and handling, okay? And you're also going to get 10 ways to train your dog to blank, okay? How to create a happy, healthy puppy in 30 days or whatever it is. You know, it's you know, what do your folks want? Here's what I'd do. Give you the whole dang campaign. So you'd make your best organic dog treats video, and a series of them, and then you do your 10-10-4 about organic dog food and organic dog treats, etc., etc. And you'd have your buyer's guide, how to the 10 things you might be feeding your dog that could be killing it. Okay, the old fear, uncertainty, and doubt thing always works. And then let's see, what else would I do? So we have at the end of it, you'll have, you know, your free trial. Send over the gadget, and I'd also say, what's the biggest question that you have about your doggie? Take this little survey and get another bonus gift.
That's great.
Okay, now you're getting into what their pain is, and you might also find out that 85% of these prospects are women who are 50 to 60 years old, and they drive an XYZ. I mean, you'll find out real fast by asking them some basic demographic, psychographic questions. You might spot that, look, they're all in Southern California. Okay? Do a teleseminar or webinar. Partner up with someone who has a mailing list, or you go to them and you say, look, I'd like to do a dog show. Do an interview with someone who's a dog specialist and give that away. You build some more rapport, create some more content. And again, I repeat, this works for every business.
This is great.
It's like free money. You get to be, and you know, one story I'll leave you with. I was a year ago and a few months ago. I went to Dubai. I had a speaking gig there. I get off the plane. Someone recognized me, walked up to me, and said, "You're the Traffic Geyser guy. I watch your videos. You changed my life." I have that happen in airports all over the country, and in this case, all over the world now. You can become a rock star in a niche, and once you have that you can extend that into more and more niches, but you have to start by being a specialist in one place first. And you know, you can become very, very connected and very, very wealthy, and it takes about 3.5 years, I'd say, to be able to build a good, successful platform. It can happen in 6 months, but if you just created some content, you know, and when you ask, you know, how long would it take? Usually, if you're doing it on a regular basis, you're creating some good content, let's say once a week or a couple times a month. You know, the more you create, the more love and attention you get from the search engines, the more people find you, the more people get to see your, you know, I call it the La Jolla effect, which is, you know, I started working out at a little La Jolla club. And after a year of going there, eventually, people walk up to you and say, "So what do you do for a living?" You tell them, they'll be like, "You know what? I know someone who you need to meet. They own a database of 50,000 small business owners who'd love to use Traffic Geyser." You know, it'll be like, It's because they get used to you. You're
Right.
not a threat. And the same thing happens online. It's you got to get out there because welcome to the planet of nobody cares, right? So you got to show them that you care. You have to extend support and help first. Whew.
It's great.
All right. Did I talk your ear off here?
No, this is great. I've got
All
two
right.
of them, by the way.
Okay,
so.
good. So we'll work on the next one first. Go another hour, should we? No, I'm just giving you a hard time. So what next?
No, this was great. Let's wrap it up with a little value. I want to thank the folks for emailing in, give us an idea of where to point the conversation. I want to thank you for everything you've done here today on the the product itself and all you've done with our company. We are a testimonial of your work as well.
Well, thanks. It's been, I will say, and I've told Tony this before too. It's an honor and a pleasure to give back because Tony changed my life in a huge, magnificent way. And if it weren't for him, his work, the company's work, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have accomplished anything really. I mean, I think I would have faded into obscurity and probably been working a dead-end job and been sad in Minnesota right now. Not that there's anything wrong. It's a nice place. I like Southern California a little bit more. Yeah, it's a great pleasure. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right.
This has been great.
Thank you, my friend. All right. Well, that's it.
Yeah. What do you say? It's a wrap?
I'd say it's a wrap. And thanks for watching. And thank you. And thank you, Amy and Gina.
Yeah, thank you. And until next month, we'll see you all later.